Hi everyone, so today I'm going to take you for a replay of what I played on DN. I was on a raid game, uh, wasn't particularly high rated, I'm working on that. But basically, yeah, it's a Ishizu tier element mirror match, so we'll just get into it. They win the rock, paper, scissors. So let's have a look at the starting hand, so, decent bit of combo here. Be interesting to see if we get milled, if they're blind milling or not. I think you get less blind milling as you move up higher. But yeah, so we'll go for now. So they do blind mill. Search exchange of spirit. So I'm thinking, oh, this is a bit rough. With 'cause if I get locked out by Gravedigger's trap hole, Gravekeeper's trap hole, that would be sick. And he's got the Gravekeeper's trap as well, so fuming. But yeah, he's mill 5. He's hit a name and a shuffler, which is pretty good to be honest. But unfortunately for him, I've hit name, shuffler, and miller. So we'll go through this. Resolves his melee. I got Shirin, Aikido, and Medora. Well, but I realised that you've got to be so careful with the chain links in this match because I just jumped into resolving my Medora there, and I hadn't passed the quick effects to him, so he might have wanted to use his Keldor. But yeah, I do this. Didn't want to use anything. I actually buy. It's really bad, but buy Kelbeck. I actually meant his shuffler, but he had to chain anyway, so it doesn't really matter. The shuffler was going to get banished either way. That's sort of like it's a misplay. It didn't cost me because if it didn't shuffle back that, I was resolving, so it was going to be fine anyway. So he chains his Keldor, puts back his Heartbeat and his other Kelbeck, so he gets 2 Kelbecks back. They're both useless because he's used his effects, so I'm not quite sure why I put those back. Then Reno. But he jumped into that, but we needed to mill 5 for my Aikido first. So let's have a look what we milled. So we milled a Suluk and a Scream and a Kelbeck as well. So I'm in his turn, and basically the philosophy is, right, he's going to resolve all his names at some point in this turn. So I might as well just keep milling because he's going to get to his names anyway. Like you've seen, he's got Reno Heart. There's so many ways he could just, get to Reno Heart into kick Carlos into something else. Mill it, he's going to hit the names. So I might as well mill my names and mill his names to just try and generate as much advantage for myself. So that's what I'm thinking. I'm always trying to use millers in their turn. If it's the mirror, I don't want to use millers in my turn because I don't want to give them any free advantage. So here we go. Chain links are having this one, select 2, scream 3. So he's actually getting quite a lot of advantage of this mill, which is a little bit sickening. But you have to do it anyway because he could have just milled these off Kit Merley anyway, so it is what it is. There's a lot of good stuff to mill in this deck, to be fair. So I'm just writing out the chains just to be crystal clear. And then obviously I had my Suluk, my Kelbeck and my Scream. The reason why I did this in this order is because I want the Scream to go first because I want to search a trap because I don't want to mill the trap off Kelbeck. So I guarantee that out of crime. I then went Kelbeck again because I want the most tiers in my deck when this is happening to have the best chance of milling. And then I did Suluk last to search my whatever I need for the turn. But this Scream is also good as well because I obviously want to add the crime, but I want to get the crime out of my deck, so I'm more likely to mill. It's like these little things where, just thinking of the chain that way around, just taking the crime out the deck and keeping the most tier names in, whether it's even if it's only one name difference. So I've literally, if I'd have done this incorrectly, I could have searched off my Suluk first, grabbed the name, then I'd have had, let's say, 7 names in 28. Whereas in this case, I've got, I've searched off my Screams, so there's 28 cards in the deck, and then I mill 5, now I've got 8 names in 28, so like I'm a lot better off. So it's always best to get the non-names out your deck, then mill the names, then if you have to search some more names afterwards, search them afterwards. So that's what happens, so all this stuff resolves. But it's not resolved yet actually. So I asked him for any quicks. He said no because obviously I don't have a shuffler at this point, and he's going to be resolving Havness. So this is where I use my Druid's Worm, and then I hope that I mill another shuffler off this. Then it's completely turned him off everything. So we're up to Channeling 7. Search the Crime. Mill off the Kelbeck. Make him mill 5 as well. I notice that he's on the high spirits as well, and he's got an opportunity to mill with the Guido, but I don't think he's going to take that. Search my Reno, just to give myself a bit of functionality between these two, and this also lets me, I'm looking at my hand and I'm thinking, right, I've got Terraforming into Planet into Shirin. I've got Instant Fusion, I've got Bisted, and I've got a Havness. So the Shirin can pitch the Havness, it can mill. There's lots of stuff I can do here before I have to commit to the normal summon. I want to commit to the normal summon the last thing possible, and I'm probably going to Instant Fusion for a Mudjug and a Cold Dark just to turn off a lot of his effects. So we continue play. So I forgot to let him resolve his stuff. Obviously you just saw him trying to like correctly resolve everything. I forgot about his stuff, which is crazy. But yeah, so now we're going to a new chain. He's got his triggers first, and he's just literally just doing the Shirin. So then I'm on to mine now. So I'm gonna do my Havness. And then he doesn't have any quakes, so I got mine, and I'm gonna do my Keldor because I've seen I milled the Shuffler, which is insane. So now my Keldor's gonna hit his Shirin. Now he's used everything. So another quick point. Um, I didn't return the high spirits because he wasn't getting to a fusion this turn. I can deal with that next turn. I wanted to get rid of the Merly if possible to make him, because now he literally has no access to anything from his hand. He has no access to anything from the grave to shuffle back to make Kit Kalos. So by putting those Merleys back, it takes Merleys out of circulation so Kit can't bring them back, and it makes him have to fuse from his hand or his field, which you don't really want to do. So in doing this, I'm making him neg more. But what you've got to look at is we've both got 6 card hands. You know, like we've both got a lot of. He's got a lot of options, so you've got to try and reduce these options best as possible. And the best way I thought to do that is when he's fusion summoning my turn is to make him fusion summon from his hand. So I had to fusion from my hand because I didn't mill another name, but that's fine. Submit the kit. Then I was just checking that I hadn't used Merly. Then I wanted to use the Merly here to make the Rukalos, just because I know now he can't fusion summon anymore. But what I can stop with this Rukalos is Bestials. So I'm trying to play around the only things that I can loosen out because I feel like I'm in a pretty strong position because I'm going to be drawing to 6 cards and I've got a Rukalos and a Druid's Worm and all he's got is a Keldor. Obviously he's already used his Keldor from the grave and he didn't have Medora. I don't know if I'm him here. If I'm him here, I don't know about the Guido. No, I don't think you can because it sort of forces you to mill Medora or bust. Yes, I think I was correct play not to use a Guido. But it's definitely the correct play for me to use both these to just try and get as much out of the deck as possible. He goes to summon Shirin, and all I'm seeing with this Shirin line is a possible like redoer or a dweller or anything. So I wanted to try and stop this. And obviously he's already used Shirin anyway, so it's literally just a free discard at this point, so it's just knocking him down to the 5 cards. So again, we're like 5 in the mirror. I've found it's a lot about advantage and like keeping like a good amount of cards in hand, and that's how you win a mirror. It's sort of like doing enough to stop you dying, and then keeping enough resources to like crack back them, and hopefully when you crack back there isn't anything left. So you got Reno Heart there. Normal summons it. Again, can't use it, so I'm thinking thinking right now, I wonder if he's going to make Dweller just to try and buy himself a turn. Because obviously, I don't think like my hand would have to be like two Bestials and a normal summon, or like a Reno, a Shuren, and a True to him. It's like three cards, quite a lot of things to sort of kill him through a Dweller. So I was thinking, I wonder if he makes Dweller. But he doesn't, he sets to and pass. Now, obviously, I know one of these, because he added the Exchange Spirit, I know one of these has got to be the Gravekeeper's Trap, so like I'm thoroughly expecting this to happen. And this other one here, I'm assuming that this is a Sullock, and then that Sullock's going to send the Reno, which is then going to um, pitch something and bring it back, and so on and so forth. So I thought it was going to be, what was that? What I was playing into. Obviously, activate that in the wrong column. There was a misclick. Um, Search Palarino. Then at this point, Grave Keeper's Trap me discard Exchange of Spirit. So this is brutal now. All my graves turned off. I can sort of win in a beatdown by attacking these two, but if we go back to what I was reading this to be a Sullock. Reno, then I can't remember if he added this crime or not. I can't remember if I knew this was the crime. But either way, even if it was the crime, even if I do like know it's crime, he goes it goes Reno effect. Obviously, if this is negated, I can't tribute to negate it because he selected it. So then the crime goes the helplessness to hand. The Reno goes makes a fusion, and I think I just get out resource pretty quickly there. So obviously, this being Sullock, I can't just try and beat over. I've actually got to be proactive and do something. So Pearl Rhino. This is just to give my guys a boost over his, to be honest. And then hopefully see if he shuffles anything back and I get a free pop, which would be nice. Activate Scream again. This is just to to be able to get over as much things as possible. I'm expecting him to have like a couple of bodies or whatever, and this obviously plus 500, this minus 500 is going to be like really important. So I activate this just like I said, just to get the attack boost over. Then activate the instant fusion here. There's only one thing I'm going for at this point in the game, so try and play around this Sullock. It's to get the Mud Dragon. He's thinking here. I'm thinking, yeah, I wonder if it's going to be Sullock on this while before the Mud Dragon comes out, because the Mud Dragon comes out with water. So the Mud Dragon comes out. Scream. Then he chains Suit Poly. And uh, it's pretty good in this position because you could make Drickus. No, you couldn't make Drickus Speller. You could make a Kalos and then this wouldn't come back. So it's pretty good. I think I would have waited if this is my Super Poly though. So he makes a Kalos, obviously the Rhino, the Kelbeck. Obviously I had to resolve my screen first. So now we mill 5. And then I think this is where he it doesn't miss time and he just forgot to use it, but I didn't want to play a game where my opponent was playing like significantly suboptimally when it could be fixed like that. I'd rather play a proper game where, especially in testing, like obviously at YCS is still like a, to be honest, maybe even a regional, this is never happening, I'm not letting him get away with this, but right now, when we're just testing, I'm trying to get the most value out of my testing, and you're not going to get the most value out of your testing by playing against people who misplay, especially this hard. So I was happy to just to let him have this. I just put it in the churn link. I'm not sure if you realised that was wrong or whatever, but whatever. And so I only use this Druid to bait out the Keldor uh, for like for the future because now he's got two Keldors banished. There's only one left. If this does end up going into a grind game, which spoiler alert it doesn't, um, I'll be better off. But yeah, I just use this to just bait out because realistically I want to discard this with Shirin anyway. But this was me sort of assuming that he knew that if I dropped this Druid's Worm, all he's going to be able to do with this kit Kalos is search a Reno Heart. I can beat over the entire field, normal my Reno Heart, set crime, and then just crime back the Reno Heart and then I win. So he realizes that as well. The Druid's Worm gets returned. What are we up to now? It's a 21-minute game so far. It seems, and this is only the second turn. So it just goes to show how interactive these games are. So I had to have a think here. Drop the Shirin by discarding the Druid's Worm. Then obviously it's a simple, the most crushing play in the mirror match. I accidentally detached Blood Dragon here. I didn't mean to do that. The most crushing play in the mirror match definitely the Dweller comes out, attacks. Let him know. I did this for maximum damage as well, just in case. Obviously in a Zeus effect. Now the annoying thing is I couldn't use any of my shufflers to send anything back. I obviously I was under the Gravedigger's trap, which is so annoying. So I have to he goes to go and change his happiness, and then he realizes that he can't do it because he's under Dweller. So I let him take it back again. I'm just trying to play it best I can. Then now we get into a position where everything's gone. His graveyard's off. He's got Havness and Reno in hand, which I know, and I've got Reno, so it's just it's pretty cookie cutter at this point. So obviously I've got lots of names engraved that I couldn't use. So Reno sends one, just shuffles two back, and I've got to look at the deck count here. I've only got 11 cards in deck, so I'm really trying to put as much back into the deck as possible. And obviously I'm going to do that if I've got two names engraved that I can make it with anyway. So then I start shuffling stuff back in. So to the kit I chained the Keldor to put back the three things so that the kit could search a solo because there was a target in deck. So now I've got double trap and I've got a Merlin grave already, and obviously I've got two more names to use and I'm milling 8 and there's a lot of names in here and I'm gonna hopefully mill them all to get used to them. So I got mill 8. So I milled all three names there. Obviously I'd already used the Merlin. And I milled another Keldor Medora. Now I actually didn't want to mill the Keldor because I wanted to Elf Divine Ascend it back. Now the reason why I don't normally do this, use my shufflers in my turn for my own, I normally save them for my opponent, but in this situation uh, I was able to be so free with them because I knew the turn was going to end. He's got two cards in hand, I know what they are, and I'm going to end on a Rue Kalos and a Baron, which is like 2 negate, and then I've got Crime and Sullock. So it's actually 4 interruptions for 3 cards. So provided I use them correctly, there's absolutely no way to lose. So I might as well just push with my Ishizus and win the game on this turn. So I go into the Rue Kalos. Then I think this is a good place. I'll make a Rura, and the idea behind this is I want to make Elf, and then I want Elf to summon back Diviner, and then I want Diviner to send Keldor, but I don't have any names in deck, so I'm gonna have to use a shuffler to put back the Keldor in so I can send it again. And I realised I actually had a misplay here. So what I should have done is I should have linked to make the elf now drawn one, then use a shuffler to put back the Keldor, then brought it back with Diviner, because all I'm doing now is I'm making it the game losable. So what I actually do in the game is I use my shuffler to put it back, then I make the elf, but if I draw the Keldor now off this Garura, I can't send it off the Diviner, so that means I can't make Baron. So that means I'm just opening the game up to lose for no good reason. But obviously I draw Magnum up because I'm insane at the game. So obviously bring back Diviner. And then that's level 6 now, so make Baron. Set 2 pass. He tries to play through this. I played this in such a way because I thought, I know he's got a name. So I can Baron, then I can Rukalos, then I can Crime. He's used his normal summon. He's got no cards in hand apart from one, so his only out is Instant Fusion. And even if he does Instant Fusion, when he activates Instant Fusion, I can Elf into Merly, and then I've got Suluk to negate it, and then the Suluk will send the Merly, and I've got Kaleido Heart, so it's like absolutely unlosable if I play it this way, so I played it this way. Same thing, obviously I've got 6 cards in deck, and a lot of them are names, so well, I hit 3 names off this Merly, and then I'm just trying to do as much as I can, so I put back 2 names for that, and a name for that, so I've got 4 more names, just pretty straight up, like quite easy. So into the next game. He goes first again. Does the high spirits combo, which is pretty good to be honest. I quite like this high spirits combo. Series the Keldo. On the Rukalos, on the Rukalos, yeah, it's sort of a lose-lose because you're gonna lose your Rukalos or both mill in 5. I don't think. Um, but then you open yourself up to a duel Ishizu, so you've got to like, if I resolve this Kelbeck and bounce this Rukalos, then that is like pretty good for me for sure. But if he does it this way, he literally loses there's a mill 5 coming down, and that can get my engine started like really easily. So I don't know why he negated this here, but I don't know if I would have negated this. I suppose you could. It all depends on the hand, but I think the best way is probably not to negate this. Give up the Rukalos, and then end um end on Dweller with a Mud Dragon underneath. So like I can't Dweller Zeus him. But anyway, what he does is pretty good. He completely forgot about the mill 5 for some reason, but like I say, we let that slide. I milled a shuffler and a name. It was at this point where I literally said like, if he's got a Bestial, I'll probably lose this game. And to be honest, giving me the mill 5 may have been a correct idea with the Bestial in hand because, it's like, what am I really going to do with this? I can only make kit, I can only send one, I can only try to get into Dragus Tapelia, and then that's it. That's all I've got. So yeah, I do that, and then that gets smoked, and at this point, the game's on, like, it's completely lost. And that's a sad thing, I know this is lost now. He pops this, I think it's weird. Mills 5. I only hit Scream, or we should have hit a name. But if I hit a name, he's got Baron to negate, I suppose. But then if I hit a name and he Baron negates it, then negates off, and it'll matter because obviously I top deck insane. Um, but yeah, I really wanted him to Baron negate this Reno so I could orange it. But there's no way I'll win this game. Like there's no way I'll win this game at all. Baron Volk is very very strong in the mirror, and obviously so is Baron Dweller as well. So what he actually pointed out was it's a good idea if they add back the Cartesia card to make to return the Garura because they can Baron bring back the Garura normal summon the Cartesia, Synchro, draw a card and get a Baron again, so it's pretty good. So here I'll look at my hand, it's really really weak. There's only one play and it's the Shirin play. So I Shirin pitch the Bisted and hope he doesn't have a Bisted. And he doesn't, so that's good. So we'll just do the standard. Mill 8 because we've got nothing else to do. We hit well. Early Reno that guarantees all three names. Make Rolk. So it's here where I was thinking whether instead of this Rolk, I should have made a Mud Dragon. Because then I could have tried and go for a Dweller line to play around Super Poly because I knew he was on Super Poly because I seen it game one. But I thought my hand was so weak that I sort of have to just accept the loss of Super Poly, and playing around Super Poly could make my board so weak that he could break it anyway. So I ended up just playing straight up into Super Poly, and it was pretty poor, as we'll see, because he has Super Poly. So this board's like pretty cracked. Like if he doesn't have Super Poly right here, I know he can go draw for his high spirits, but then I just chain Dweller. Like what does he have? He has instant fusion, which obviously I know he's trying to get into Dweller to Zeus me. So I'm obviously negating that with Rukalos, but I'm negating it by sending the Merly. Then the Merly's, fusing in with the Rhino Heart, kick Kalos, and then I have this. I'm getting Triggers to Pelia, so he's down at instant fusion. Yeah, he's got Planet. He's down at high spirits. It's like you're just not winning those games. Like if this dweller resolves, it's over in like so many ways I can't even describe. These double tactics being dead is brutal, but no, he has the Super Poly and obviously discard Shuffler, so I don't even get my Rukalos back, which is so frustrating. And then he normals Reno, and I just know from there to wraps. So that just goes to show how you can play really well game one and like really crack a board and do some really skillful plays, and then just be unable to break their board game two, and then just get absolutely stomped game three by Super Poly. There was ways in which I could have played around Super Poly, I think, but it was some really difficult lines. And like I say, you don't want to end on a subpar board to play around a card that they're twice as likely not to have than to have if it means you lose to like everything else. So I hope I hope that has helped everyone a bit in the mirror match, and to just say like there can be some really insanely skillful games ones where I think he misplayed a lot. I think there was definitely plays where I could have played better. So that's like we weren't perfect in this match at the start, and then obviously game two you can get blown out really easy by going first, and then game three you can get blown out really easily by really powerful going second cards. So yeah, I just hope that was everyone enjoyed that. Take care, cheers.